Hello everyone and welcome to Lowrentrick Scale Modelling, and this is my little video about weathering wheels. If you haven't done already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out my really small channel. Now, one of the things that can really set your model apart is making a good job of the wheels, something that I've been historically really rather bad at. So what I'm doing here is I'm pre-painting on the sprue the wheels from the Airfix Alvis Stalwart. And then I'm going to go through various stages of how to weather them up. So starting off, I'm just giving them a base coat of green, and then I'm giving them the overcoat of green and the tyres in the black using Vallejo Model Air Acrylics. And I'm just going to do some freehand camo as the basic colours on the background before we start putting the weathering over the top. When it comes to the actual assembly of the wheels, the more time you can take to get them together, to get them to fit as close together as possible, especially when they're in two halves, will save a lot of heartache later. But I find that they never quite fit well, and you always get that seam line. So the first thing we're going to do once they are together is we're going to sort out that seam line. Now, depending on how big the seam is, we can either fill or we can use a primer to fill those gaps. So the seams really aren't that drastic, but they're very visible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a file set, and I'm just going to file down along each tyre's seam, basically to flatten out the tyre a little tiny bit so it doesn't look so overinflated, and that will also sand back the seam, ready for using a bit of primer over the top. A fairly thick coat of primer, which will then just very lightly sand back, and that should fill the seam and make the tyre look like it's one piece rather than two halves glued together. For the sanding, incidentally, I'm using Army Painter diamond files. Now, I bought these maybe 18 months ago, and they've just been amazing. And they're really cheap at about £8 for three. I've tried many different files. These ones seem to be about the best out there. All the materials that I use in this video, I've stuck links in the description, Amazon links, so you can go and have a look at them yourself. But these files are really worth looking at, especially for around £8 for a packet. There's a circular, a flat, and a diamond shape which I'm using there. So if I was going to make the seam a bit deeper, I'd use the point on the back of the diamond shape, the triangle shape, to really dig out that furrow if I needed to put some filler in there. It just gives it something to grip to. To file back these wheels, there's 6 of them on the stolly. To file them back to a point where they're ready took about 20 minutes. Um, it's quite a laborious task, and I've sped it up for the video, but it's really worth doing when you see that the wheels transform from looking like two plastic halves to actually looking like one solid piece. So it's worth putting that little bit of extra effort in. Once that filing task is finished, I'm going to move on to priming. So I'm going to prime the area of the seam and where I've sanded off the paint all around the body of the tyre. Now, the choice of the primer is entirely yours. What I'm going to use is a primer that's got a really good profile for filling very tiny gaps. So I'm going to be using the Kaleido Colorworks primer from Gaahleri. Um, it's one of the kits they sent me to review some time ago. There's links in the description to that one to check that out, and to the review of their paint kit. The primer I find for this one, it feels quite watery, but in fact when it dries out it really does do a good job of filling small gaps, and even relatively large ones where you think you might need a filler. This one's a really good go-to, and I've been using it on lots of stuff. and you only need a tiny amount, but you can afford to lay it on quite thick, because as it dries, it really does. Think of a very strong sort of Tipex. Is about the best way I can describe it, but it really does soak up any of those lines, especially from filing. If you've left any scrape lines behind, then this is a good choice for a primer. Once that's been left to dry off, just a very light sand back with some 1200 grit emery paper, just in case there's any air bubbles remain. It really doesn't need that much sanding. It sort of works like it sort of self levels as it dries and tightens up. If you've used the Kaleido stuff before, you'll know the finish is extremely hard wearing. So straight over the top of that with a little bit of Vallejo Model Standard Black, just to bring that primer back into colour. The surface of the tyre is going to have many layers on it. It's going to have a sort of a middle stone and then an ochre layer over it to make them look a little bit muddy and a little bit dry. But as the background base, we need a little bit of black just to cover that white primer. Now the layers of weathering, I'm going to be mostly dry brushing, so I'm going to start by dry brushing the whole tyre with gunmetal from Vallejo's Model Air metallic range. I bought this about 2 years ago and I've still got lots of it left. It goes a very long way and is probably one of the better metallic paints that I've used. Now the reason I'm metallic painting over rubber is it gives it a sort of grey background shine, which you'll see later on when we do the matte varnish. It really pulls that shine back. Then over the top of that, concentrating on the tread first, I'm going to be dry brushing some middle stone. That gives a sort of a dusty, muddy feel to the wheels. The dry brushing of the gunmetal will also highlight any of the silver of the hub, which we're going to add a little bit of rust to later. As this is a Stolly, it spends a lot of time in the water and in wet conditions. So we're just going to add a little tiny bit of rust. We're not going to go too far, but more a little bit of surface rust. And once the middle stone has been dry brushed on, I'm going to go back over the top and dry brush a little bit of the ochre too. Now this looks really severe, but later on when we start to pull it back, when we put the matte varnish over it, really will tighten that up and blend all that shine in together. A quick brush coat of Vallejo matte varnish now, as the main weathering is more or less done. I just need to protect that now with some matte varnish before we do the rust and the powder. So for the rust, I'm using Vallejo Rust Wash. That comes out of the Vallejo Rust Stain and Streaking set. There is a review video on my channel about using that to create rust. It's a good little kit for creating sort of medium, light, or even moderate and very severe rust. You don't need much. You can just put you can put as much as you want on, because it dries off quite well and thins out quite a bit when it's drying. So if you think you've gone too far, just wait for it to dry off. And if it is a little bit too severe, you can water it back, or you can add a bit of matte varnish, and that'll pull that rust effect right the way back again. So it's quite forgiving. For the main mud, I'm going to use something from the Revell weathering set. These come as a powder pigment. You just add a little bit of water to them. It makes them pretty easy to either paint directly on or dry brush. But what you will find is once they dry, you can just add water and take them back off again until you've sealed them with a varnish. So again, quite forgiving. When they dry, they've got a wonderful sort of earthy matte tone to them, so it really does look like dried mud. And if you want it to look wet, then apply it, and apply sort of a gloss varnish over the top, and it'll stay looking wet. But as I work these, you will see as it dries off, the green brown really does get lighter and lighter and lighter through the time lapse as the surface dries off. Now you could leave them like that and make them extremely weathered and muddy, or as you'll see in a bit when we put the varnish over, it just adds to the overall layering effect of the weathering. Once all that's done, as you'll see now, I'm going over the top of the wheels with some Vallejo matte varnish, lots and lots of thin coats, and as the time lapse progresses, you'll see how the weathering effect really does mute down as the varnish goes over the top. It really pulls back all the severe heavy looking weathering, so you've just got a really realistic looking rubber wheel that looks a bit dirty, like it's had a bit of life, and you can stop at any time. So that's them without any weathering at all, and a little bit of camo and just the black on the tyres. And then moving on to the heavy weathering with all the mud and all the dry Revell powder on them too. And then when they've been matte varnished off and it's all tightened back, which is the version that I wanted, they just look really nice. Well, I think they do anyway, with that little bit of rust too. The photos don't really do them justice. But they'll look great hanging off the side of the Alvis Stalwart, so I'm really pleased with them. I hope this has helped you. All of the materials I've used are linked in the description. Please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos. I'll keep making them as long as people keep watching them, and I hope you've got something out of it. Thanks again, bye bye.